Hello, good to see you again. I thought we'd do something really fun today. I thought we'd do a little bit of cooking. Now, what I'm going to make today is pancakes. Pancakes are actually my favorite kind of breakfast food, and I'm going to try something a little different today. We're going to see how that works. Now, of course, what you want to do when you're cooking pancakes, most important thing is to start with the heat. You have to get the heat right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out my nice big pan. I'm going to put it on the large heater, but I'm going to start that heat to 2, low. And this is so important with making pancakes. You cannot have the heat too high. If you have the heat too high, it will burn the outsides and the inside will be uncooked. So that is one of the most important things when you're starting with pancakes. Now, of course, we're going to need to get the batter made up. I am using something very complicated here, and by that I mean a pre-made buttermilk. But you will see in a minute how I'm going to do something a little bit different, and we'll see how that works out. So I've got just a little bit left from this old box. I'm going to go ahead and fill that up there. That's the last of that bit. But I've got a brand new box that I'm going to use for these delicious pancakes. I hope you're hungry. Am I the only one who can never get these things open? Is it just me? I'm going to use a little knife here. Get this going. There we go. All right. Got 1 cup. And I'm going to make 2 cups worth of pancake mix, because I'm not the only one who might like to eat something here. You might like some too. So I'm going to put that in. And these incredibly complex instructions now ask for 1 1/2 cups of water. So I'm just going to go over here. I've got my 1. And I've got my 1/2, but now we're going to try something different. I have never, ever done this before. We're going to try to make chocolate pancakes. Is it going to turn out well? I have no idea, but this is what my research assistant, Dr. Google, recommended, was to add 1/4 cup of Hershey's syrup. So I'm going to start adding that here. It's filling up nicely. Man, that is a lot of chocolate syrup. That's a lot of chocolate milks right there. And then, boop. We're going to let that all pour in. Now, sometimes I use my, I've lost my ability to speak. Sometimes I mechanically I use my mixer. But usually for a single batch like this, I find that a hand mixer works just fine. And actually, this is a brand new one because my last one of the metal tongs just went boing. It actually made like a almost cartoon sound as it sprung out. And I realized I was just about done with that one. I needed a new one. So there, I've got that. I'm done with this, so don't anybody tell. Gotta have that little bit of syrup there. But I only do that if I'm not going to use that one again, just so we're clear. Now I'm going to start stirring this. And oh boy, that is very chocolatey. I am definitely concerned that I may have added too much chocolate. But you know what? Cooking is about experimentation. When you're doing something as simple as pancakes, sometimes you just have to experiment. I'm going to really let that get good and mixed. Now, you may see some background guests in my show. That is actually my dog, Thea. Thea is a German short-hair pointer, and she has heard that there are people in the kitchen, and so she has come seeing if she can get any treats, and I am not going to give her any pancake batter, as you can imagine. You can hear her getting a drink in the background. Eventually, she'll get bored when she realizes that no food is forthcoming. So now I have the mix just the way I want it. And see here that it's quite chocolatey looking. And this is getting pretty warm. I usually give it quite a while before I actually put the pancake on, because I really found that if you don't give it enough time to really fully heat the pan, it doesn't work very well. Now, but this stove I'm working on right now is pretty modern, and it heats up pretty quickly. So I think it's going to do pretty well. Now, you certainly can use oil, and that's perfectly fine. But I really find that just good old-fashioned pan works pretty darn good. You're cooking with a little bit less oil. Now, I'm making quite a mess here, and that's perfectly fine, because that's part of cooking. What I normally do is I use the 1/3 cup for measuring out my pancakes. I find that's just about the right amount, but I'm missing something else that I need to do, and that is I usually take one of the mini teaspoon type ones, and I'll show you why I'm doing that in just a moment. I'm just going to put that in there. And I'll show you what's up with that in just a minute. Now I've got my 1/3 cup of pancake mix. It's a little bit runnier than I normally like it to be, but I'm sure that's partially because of the syrup, which makes perfect sense. I'm giving it just a minute here for my early ministrations, and then I'm going to pour that on nice and thick. Kind of spread it out with the spreader. And there we go. We are in good shape. Of course, we have to leave that alone and let that cook. What I am always looking for is the little bubbles. I'm looking for those bubbles to start bubbling. I'm going to check my heat real quick and make sure that indeed I'm on 2. With these, this is a relatively new stove for me. We've only been in this house for a few months, and there's been a couple of times where I got the heat opposite of what it should be, and that didn't go well. That was some very burnt pancakes, I'm afraid. I'll close this here so I can get a little more access. And I've actually got my plate ready to go because I don't want to be running around. There is one thing that I forgot, though, that I'm going to get real quick. What I like to do when I'm cooking pancakes is, of course, I make quite a few at the same time. And so I will actually put a clean dish towel on the top of it, and it tends to keep them warm. Another thing you can do is simply put them in the microwave. That will also help. Now, this first one, because I did put it on sooner than I normally would put pancakes on. Normally, I would let the pan heat a little bit longer. It's taking a little longer on the first one, but it's going to do fine. Now, I don't doubt that this is going to taste good. I'm not worried about that at all, about it tasting good. What I'm worried about is if the chocolate is a little too intense, and that may cause some problems. But I think we're almost ready. It's very, very close. We're starting to see more of those little bubbles bubbling. And the truth is, there simply is no perfect time to know when to flip that pancake. Got my spatula right here, ready to go. What you can do, of course, is peek. Take a little peek. And that looks pretty darn good. Yes. Now, the reason, and I'll try and get a close-up of it when it's done, that I did a little shenanigans before I poured the pancake is I actually made a little face in the pancake. It's something that I like to do on at least the first one. But it's very, very simple. If you can make pretty much anything you want if you simply put a little bit of batter on first in the shape you want and just give it a few seconds to warm up first. And then when you pour the rest of the batter on, it'll leave a face. I won't deny that's something my mom used to do, and I'm still kind of a big fan of that. Now, it's just about done. You don't have to cook the second side nearly as long as you do the first. I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera, but I've got a little smiley face on there, and I'm really happy with how that first pancake came out. There's an old saying that the first pancake never comes out well. And unfortunately, that is often true. But in this case, I think we did pretty darn good. Should I put another face in? I think I should. I think I should put a little smiley face there. That one came out a little better than that last one. And here is the 1/3 cup of batter. And I'm waiting just a few more seconds for that face to kind of cook in a little bit more. And then goes the batter. This is going very, very well. Of course, one of the many reasons that I love cooking pancakes is that it's really, really easy to do. Now, you can make pancake from scratch. I certainly do have the recipe that I got from my mother on how to make pancakes from scratch, using buttermilk and eggs and all of that. But my daughter really does not like certain tastes. Certain tastes really don't sit well with her. And she particularly doesn't even like any kind of mix that adds egg, that adds raw egg. She can just taste the egg too much. And so what I found is if I just use the Hungry Jack pre-made mix that has no egg, because about half of them you add the egg and some oil, and the other half it's simply the batter and the milk, or water in this case. And this one, as you can see, it's cooking a little bit faster, so it's going to be done even sooner, and that's normal as the pan is starting to warm up. It's really nice. Let's see how we're doing there. Oh yeah, that looks looking nice. Now I've got a little bit of stray batter here, and that happens from time to time. I'm just going to scrape that off. I'm just going to put this over here. Get rid of that. This is going very well. Now, I mentioned before, I've got my hand towel. Put that over the pancake, and it really seems to kind of help trap that heat in so that when you actually serve your pancakes, they stay nice and warm. And the biggest thing is you don't have to be a master chef to make good food. You just need to be consistent. It needs to be fully cooked. It needs to be thought out. What I normally do is we serve it with just a little bit of butter. We serve it with Mrs. Baird's, not Mrs. Baird's, who am I trying to say? I'm going to get it right now so I can correct myself. There we go, getting my B's mixed up. The Mrs. Butterworth, it works really well. I do sometimes get the sugar-free, but I find that it's just a little too watery, and so it doesn't go over quite as well. Wow, that face really came out. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very distinct on that one. We got that there. We got it underneath. Spraying the next one. I find that making pancakes is extremely contemplative. It's got a nice rhythm to it that's very satisfying. Now, you notice I didn't put the face on that one because I don't put the face on all of them. I mean, what I often will do is if I'm serving a stack to someone, the very top one will have the face on it and the rest don't, because you don't see those. You're just eating them I don't know how many you put normally in a stack, but normally we have 3 in a stack. Sometimes if we're going nuts, we'll put 4 in a stack, but I find that 3 is a very filling meal without being overly much if that's all you're eating for breakfast that morning. But it's going very well now. And soon I'm going to have that one done, so I'll have the 3 stacks ready. And what I'll probably do is make 2 full stacks of 6 total. And if 2 people are eating, like if my wife and I are eating, that's fine. And if not, I'll actually just put it in the fridge and wrap it up a little bit to help keep it fresh. And just have that for breakfast the next morning. So we're almost done with our 3rd one and our final one for this particular video. I hope you've been enjoying it. Now see, this one, it almost looks like it's made of wheat because the air holes, it almost looks like a wheat pancake, but it is not. It is simply chocolate. And what we're really going to find out is whether or not it tastes good. Now, if you have a particular favorite breakfast food that you like, share it with me. Maybe I'll make it sometime on this channel. Or if you've got another food you'd like to see me try and make, I can give it a shot, but I'm not going to make any promises. So I hope that you get some delicious pancakes in the near future, and I will talk to you soon.